Hi everybody, welcome back to Small Caliber Arms Review. I'm Richard. Today we're going to be taking a look at the accuracy of the A17WSM. Now, if you watched the last video, the one where the initial review of where I took it out there and shot it, I was concentrating more on reliability because it's a rimfire Magnum size round that's in there, and it's something that hasn't been done. There's been several different bolt action 17WSMs, but there's always been a problem with the Magnum rounds in a semi-auto. Now Savage come out with this, the A17WSM. It is a neat little round. It's a 27 caliber bullet topped with a 27 caliber case topped with a 17 caliber round on the top of it, and they are whistling out there around the 3,000 feet per second mark. Depends on what load you get. The 20 grain tipped bullets are going to be traveling 3,000 round. I think there might be a 17 grain or there might be a 25 grain. Either way, I've got the 20 grains is what I'm going to be using in here. Now, I've done some tweaking on this because I've had several comments from the viewers about this gun should be more accurate than what it was, and some of that's probably me. I am not a professional marksman. I'm an enthusiast and a hobbyist. And then someone mentioned that they had a rifle that the bases were off a little bit. So I've got all my little levels on here. And I've had to calibrate these levels a little bit. I found that they were not exactly perfect and had to do a little filing. And the way to calibrate a level is you put it on one way and then you turn it 180 degrees, put it in the same spot, and it should be reading the same thing, because then we know that it's in the right place. Now I think I've gotten this one because I've turned that 180 degrees there and it looks like it's doing pretty good. I did mount a different scope on here. I had problems with finding the correct rings. Obviously, you want the scope as low to the bore axis as you can get it. That's not always doable depending on the rings and everything. I ended up having to go with a set of high rings on here to get the clearance I needed under there. More importantly, on the A series rifles from Savage, you need some clearance under the back here too, because you got to be able to get this cover off, and you don't want to take your scope off every time you're doing that. I should have adequate clearance there to get everything out for cleaning and everything now. This is a Bushnell trophy scope. It is a 4 to 12. Yeah, it's a 4 to 12 scope with adjustable parallax on it. It is objective focus, which I'm not a big fan of. And it did come with these caps on here. These are Butler Creek caps. I'm okay with having this one on here. This one might not be the ideal one to have on there, because when you go to adjust your parallax, you're going to have to turn your ring on the front there. And this is one of the reasons I do not like the objective focus, is because when you do that, you torque the whole rifle. So that was at 10, which is the minimum. And now my cap's going to hit, and I'm only at 30 yards there. So this will probably be coming off of here. It just slides right over the end of it. And like I said, these are not ideal for scopes with objective focus on it. The scope itself feels it doesn't feel real smooth. It's not a high dollar scope. It's a little, it doesn't really feel gritty, but it feels a little rough on the focus there. The zoom ring feels just fine, nice and smooth on it. And I have already adjusted the ocular for my eyesight, and I went ahead and put the cap back on it. It'll stay right there. And these little levels I've got, these go on top of the scope on the bases. This one slides in the action there to rest on the rails. And I had to calibrate this one too, because they weren't perfect. And they're not, I would love to have put a 98 level on this. A 98, if you're a machinist, you'll know what that is. That is a super highly precise level, but those things are extremely expensive, and yeah, I just didn't do it. Anyways, we're going to get this thing out on the range and do some accuracy with it. We'll sight it in. I'm not going to bore you with all the sighting in stuff, but once I get it dialed in, then I'll take some accuracy shots and see how it does. I'll do 50 yard and then I'll stretch it out to 100 yard. It is a miserable day outside though right now, I can tell you that. Snow and kind of windy, probably 10 to 12, maybe 10 to 15 mile-an-hour winds, but we'll do our best. Okay, I am out here on the range finally. The snow has stopped, but the wind is still there, and it is cold out. One of the things I was mistaken about on this rifle was I said you couldn't bore sight it the way you would a normal rifle by looking through the bore. And I thought, you know what, let's take that out and just make sure And you can. So I'm going to pull the bolt out of this thing and look down there and see how close it is to start with, and then hopefully I'll narrow it down from there. It's a little tricky to get out though. Now this is bore sighting. I'm looking through the bore. Now it's kind of tough to see through that hole there, but it looks to me like it's the same. It's off to the left again. Yeah, it definitely is. So I'm going to go ahead and click these sights over to the right a little bit before I even get started on here, because I can tell that is not correct. All right, 20 clicks. And I still don't think that's enough, but I'm going to take a couple shots, and like I said, I'm not going to bore you with that. I'm just going to go ahead and do that and then move on from there. Okay, at the 50-yard target, my first shot was right there just off the paper, and I clicked it over another 20 clicks, and that got me to there. Then I figured it was about 2 inches, so I did another 16. It's 1/4 inch clicks, but it's going to take you, it would take you 8 or 4 up there, take you 8 per inch down here at 50 yards. So I did 16, got me there. I did another 16, got me to right there. Then I took a couple more shots, and I did get one. Actually, let's see, this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm missing one. I'm thinking it was way out here somewhere or something. But I've got it to right there, and that's a 3-shot group there. It's about 3/4 of an inch long. And I did take someone else's advice and get the splatter targets, which are a whole lot easier to see from back there. I'm going to go ahead and take a couple more shots at this upper right one up here, and hopefully I got it pretty close to where it needs to be. It looks like I could come up about an inch because that was not my last shot. These 3 right here were my last 3 shots. But I'm going to give it a try, and then we'll go for the 100-yard. Okay, now I remember why there's only 7 holes. I had one here that did not go off. That would explain it. All right, got the magazine loaded in there. I got one chambered right now, upper right-hand target. All right, there was 5 shots. Let's see what happened here, because I was going to do all 8, and I've got another one that's got a hit on the primer but did not go off. All right, I should have what, 2 more in there? Let's go ahead and do those last 2 at the same target. All right, I got one outside of that diamond, which is not terrible, but that's only 50 yards. It should be a lot better than that. Like I said, it is breezy out here. I've had to wrap my strap up on my camera because it's wiggling around and stuff, but let's go for the 100-yard target just for the center one, see how that does. Like I said, it's windy out here today, so not the best conditions for trying to do an accuracy test. All right, I got 8 more rounds loaded up in the magazine. I got a little technical difficulty. I wanted to set my camera up there at the 100-yard target, and it's dead. I didn't shoot it, but it won't come on, which really sucks because it's my phone. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the shots at the center of the target up there and see what I get, and we'll go up there and look at it when I'm done. Another one there that did not go off. And another one. And that was all my shots. Let's go up there and take a look at it, and then gotta get out of this cold. Okay, so since I sighted it in at 50, I did no adjustments on it to the 100. I was aiming right there. My first shot was actually up there, which kind of threw me way off. And then my next 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 were here. The elevation is pretty good, so the distance, the drop between 50 and 100 yards is not that bad. Not sure what happened there, if that was me or a fly or what. But I'm over to the right, which makes me think that the scope and the bore, the scope mounts and the bore are not aligned, because that's 2 separate scopes I've put on there and 2 different sets of rings, and it's given me pretty much the same results. I've had to do a lot of adjustment to the right to get it where it needs to be, and since there's so much difference, my convergence down there at 50 yards was pretty good. Up here at 100, it's still crossing over. So I think this rifle is going to go back to Savage with my findings, and we'll see what they do with it. Yeah, there's something going on here that is not me this time, and I'm pretty sure this one is the rifle. Anyways, if you could, reach up here and hit this button to check out some other videos, and hit the little round one down here to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'm going in where it's warm.